going on, y'all? It's your boy, Tybuggy. Your boy is back in the building, man. I got some wonderful guests with me. Started with my sister.
How y'all doing? Y'all know what's up with me. It's Big MamaaMiyah. Follow me on Instagram at MamaaMiyah, MamaaMiyah. Same for Facebook, same TikTok, and my Twitter is MamaaMiyah1.
Oh, it's my turn.
You are next.
I am next. I am Monae. I am known as the dating mindset coach. And you can follow me on Instagram at YouGlowGirlOfficial. The letter U, GlowGirlOfficial.
So this is the first episode where we're kind of doing like an interview style. We have a dating coach with us. An expert. She's an expert at what she does. So she's going to be giving us some great advice on how we can spend our time wisely in our single time, what to be doing, what to be looking for when we're dating. And she's going to be giving us her experience. So could you kind of go deep in depth of what exactly you do and what is it that you teach?
I can. So essentially what I teach ladies, I introduce themselves to themselves. A lot of women are walking around and they don't know who they are at the core. And so I teach ladies how to align with men of means. And men of means are men that provide for you in every sense of the word, spiritually, physically, emotionally, of course, financially. But a lot of women aspire to date men, but they don't aspire to date husbands. So I teach them how to align with men that are actual husbands.
What do you think the biggest issue with dating is through the clients that you've dealt with in today's modern time? What are the biggest issues you see in dating?
I think the number one thing
Let me re-say that for you.
Okay.
What is the biggest issue you see in modern dating today?
Okay. I'm gonna speak for the ladies because that's what I do. I teach the ladies. So I think that the biggest thing is that women don't understand when a guy's just not into them. Yeah.
What kind of situations like have you seen that make you feel like that is the biggest issue?
Half of whether it's a DM or a call or inside of my community, the number one thing is just like chasing after things that are not seeking you. Mm-hmm. And so most of the people that slide in my DMs are like, okay, so let me give you an example. I was dating this guy reached out to me for Valentine's. And he said he wanted to send me a gift, and I haven't heard from him. She's like, I sent him my address and I haven't heard from him. So then I was like, she's like, what should I do? Should I reach out and follow up? And I was like,
Because it's really very simple. Like,
right.
A man who wants you, he wants you. He's going to put the effort. A man who doesn't want you, you're going to be confused.
Right.
That's the part. You're going to be confused. If
right.
You're confused, he's not into you. Yeah, he's not into you.
So I have a question. Because I know a lot of women nowadays, like, because I've been one of these too, where you try to love a man into loving you, and it's just not possible. Like he's giving you all the signs of not being interested, or he's giving you the signs where he's not consistent, but you feel like the more love you give and the more that you show him that you're the right woman or the perfect woman for him, the less appreciated you are. Why do you feel like women do that?
So I feel like, so I have this theory that up until like the 60s, of course, after slavery and all this stuff, the household was the woman stays home, the man goes out. You think about how even when you think about how like the hoops men used to have to jump through just to even get the goodies. Like they used to have to marry you to get it. It was like you were seen as like, can I say that? Can I say whore?
You can say the word whore.
As
she said,
like, right? You were seen as like a whore if you slept with somebody before you got married to them and stuff like that. So the incentive to marry and the incentive to provide was always there, and then so they had to pursue.
Right.
But when women started leaving the household and being the breadwinners and getting that, then it's kind of like the men kind of relaxed. And so women have become the pursuers instead of being the pursued. And so when we are loving a man, we don't understand that his inaction is a signal of his disinterest. So we try to go forward more because we're pursuing him, and it's just an imbalance of power. So I don't teach femininity, but I teach feminine energy. So when your feminine energy is unaligned or injured, bruised, you will do things that are not of your energy. You will feel like you need to lean forward. You will feel like, if I do this, he'll understand this. So men are action. That's how they show their love, through action. So when you are trying to show him your love through action, then you're taking his ability to show you his love.
I had that issue where like I would be the one who was doing more of the action, and I didn't realize that that's what I was doing until I had to take a step back, like, because we would have arguments about where like he would be like, you're too dominant, and I'm like, no, you're not dominant enough. But in reality, I didn't allow him to be that. Now, of course, there were underlying issues, because don't get me wrong, there are a lot of men out here who don't give that leadership, and they think that they are the man, you know, that you should want, and they feel like they're being dominant, when in reality the dominant traits that they're portraying are not quality. You know, it's more so ego based, or it's more so like you know, like just drive from what they are seeing other men do, but they don't realize like the dominance that you're putting out is not the dominance that you need to put out for your woman. So I feel like that was my problem, where like I didn't realize that I was being overly dominant. I couldn't allow him to be dominant because of the relationship that we built and things we went through. It didn't let me see him as that leader.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, a lot of times, so from the beginning of time, you think about men. Like, men went out, they killed the meat, they hunted, and they did all of these things, and they came back and they gave it to you, and then you took it and you made it a meal, right?
Give a woman how she makes it home.
That's correct. So at the very basis, when you have lost the I killed the meat and then you come home and eat, then we have now imbalanced the household. So that's what I was saying. So earlier we had a discussion about why my ex proposed to me and I didn't. I said no. He was looking for a wife and I was looking for a husband, but he wasn't a husband. So and to be honest, at the time, I don't even feel like I was a wife. I feel like I had to develop into being a wife. So I said that to say, a lot of times men are looking for this role, and they're just replicating what they see others do. There aren't very, it's not very vocal. That's why it's so important to understand what kind of friends he has. What are his friends saying to him? How do his friends influence him? You want to have that positive influence around him. Is he receptive to what his friends are saying? Because my ex wasn't receptive. His friends would be like, "You messing up."
That was definitely I'm gonna say that's the difference between my relationship now or my previous relationships. This relationship, I asked all the questions. I kind of got to know his thought process before I got to know him technically. Okay. So, you know, I asked questions and I asked scenarios because I wanted to learn exactly how he thought, or what would he, you know, what experiences he had. Because I feel like you can ask a person, oh, you know, what are you into? What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? But you need to ask them, hey, if this happens and this happens, what are you going to do? Because we do it for jobs. Interview people, and I ask those interview questions all the time. So I feel like it should be a new practice nowadays to ask the same questions and scenario-based questions, because that'll tell you how a person actually thinks.
I like that. So I have a question. So let's kind of like create a structure for the listeners that's like, okay, I just met this guy. I'm trying to get to know him, but I don't know the right questions to ask. So like, let's kind of put it in like plain English. What do we think the best questions, you know, to ask in the beginning? Like on that first date, is that the date where we're asking all these questions? And what questions do you think are good questions to ask on that first date?
Okay, so let me walk you through. So you meet a guy, right? So you meet a guy, y'all get on the phone. The first thing I would tell you is, the faster you get them off of the text and on the phone, the better. A lot of times, most men should be being eliminated from that first phone call. So I use the first phone call as a screener. That's my screening process. Just like you said, I teach my women, you're a Fortune 500 company. And so everyone that wants to date you, they're an applicant at your company. And so I also tell them that a lot of times, statistically, men will apply for jobs that they're underqualified for, and they may get the job because they had the audacity to apply for that job, right? So the same way you're a Fortune 500 company, and men will do that in the corporate world, they'll do that with you. They'll try to apply for jobs they're unqualified for. So you use that first phone call as a screener, right? So like, like when you first go get a job, before you get to the job, they call you and you have a screener.
Right.
So you screen them. So in that phone conversation, I'm trying to check out a couple of things. So I'm trying to check out his income. I'm trying to check out his...
How do you check his income? Because that you can't just slide that one in there. Like, I know you're not saying how much do you make.
No, I'm absolutely not saying that.
Ask a man what he's into too. Like, you can ask him like, what do you like to do for fun? What's your favorite clothing brand? What do you like to wear? You know, what's your favorite? Because that'll tell you what his taste is, and like, like you can make a man. Because one thing about men, sorry to say it, they love to brag. So
interesting.
Men love to brag. So if you ask a man a certain question about what he wear and what his closet looks like, if he's more of an upper echelon type of guy, he's going to express the suits he has, the dress shoes he has, the type of sneakers, how much they cost. Because, okay, now you know what he's willing to spend money on. And that can kind of help you too see.
Kind of shows you his values and his money. All right, so go ahead. Walk us down.
So my questions are a little bit different. So I assess income, experience, and compatibility. So in that first phone conversation or in the first meet, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So if I were to ask about the income, I would say, walk me through a day in your life. Right?
Fellas, be on the lookout for that question, all right?
I would say, walk me through a day in your
She
life.
counting them commas.
Yes. So based on what he's saying, I can kind of get an overview of that. And then I'll ask questions like, I call it, like piggyback. So everything he says, I'm just using that same question to ask a different question. So as far as experience will be like you're saying, what does he like to do? Like when you're off, where can I find you at 5 o'clock on a Friday? Or it's 10 a.m. on Saturday, what are you doing? Or if you could be any place in the world besides your job, where would that be? So now I'm assessing where he's going. I'm also asking about his travel because I love to travel, right? And so I'm asking him, where's the furthest you've ever been? What's your most memorable vacation? How do you like to travel?
And this is all in the first phone call.
Well, I'm assessing these three things in the first first conversation, whether that's on the phone or in person. Because you can eliminate somebody in person too. You can meet people
and to be honest, if you're on the phone and the conversation is good, you can keep it going to where you can have that full conversation and check mark everything just by the conversation being so good.
I do give my girls a time limit though.
What's the time limit?
Because it's a screening.
You gotta buy the course.
Y'all got me telling all my business. So I don't think you should be on the phone longer than 30 minutes. I think the first phone call should be 30 minutes or less. And I don't care what you have to say to get off the phone. You got to get off the phone.
Okay. What is a good way for the woman to get off the phone? So all right. So we have the phone call. We have the questions. Now they're trying to get off the phone. Like, what is an appropriate way? My mom's calling? Because I feel like a lot of girls go, my mom's calling.
Oh, I have to take my other line. Or, that's the doorbell. Oh, I think there's a cat standing on the balcony. It's not my cat. Let me go check it out. Whatever you got to say, get off the phone.
Okay, so
because
question.
The conversation will get good. And then you're like, ooh. And then you might think you like him, but you're not done screening him yet. So, yeah.
What is the reason behind the 30 minutes only?
So I teach my girls the art of self-preservation. And so it's kind of it's like a sample. So you just give him enough, and if he is for real and he's intentional, because we date intentional men, then he'll ask you on a date. I'm expecting a date from the first phone call. If I don't have a date in the first phone call, we're going to do a second phone call. If by the second phone call we get off the phone, I don't have a date, then we got to keep it moving.
Okay, so in that first conversation, do you think it's important to ask about their relationships with other people, like mom, siblings, or should that be on the first date?
I don't recommend talking about anything heavy or serious until the second date. And the conversations you have between the first and the second date. On dates should be an experience of you. You as an individual are an experience.
Yeah, I think that it should be more so you're creating a vibe, your energy where you guys are making your energy mesh or seeing if your energy does mesh.
Yes, those tough conversations have to happen over the phone.
Oh, you believe it should happen over the phone?
Yeah, not on a date. Because you're supposed to be checking their vibe, their energy, their whatever. Like, when we get further into the date, like, I don't take a man serious to the 5th date. If we get to day 5, it's up, you know?
So, in this audit process, right, we have this phone call.
I like that audit. Yes,
because that's what it is.
What
So, in the first, and in that 30-minute conversation, what are some red flags the lady should be looking for in order to see whether or not they should move on with the relationship, the next date, first date? You know, what are some red flags?
Okay, so that's crazy because I have a book that outlines the signals, right?
So what is that book called?
It's called Signals for High Vibrational Dating.
Okay, and that's your book?
That's my book.
Okay,
and it has the
where is it?
It's in a link in my bio.
Okay,
it's gives you the green signals, the red signals, and the yellow signals.
Okay,
and then sometimes we have an orange signal. But which is it's not a red, but it's not a yellow. So of course, green signals. He's intentional. He's actively pursuing you. He has a good relationship with his family. Like, those are the general ones, right? But then you get into like yellow flags and red flags. For me, for my girls, any man that says that he's looking for an independent woman is a red flag.
Because that's a man who is not. He doesn't want to take care of you. He's not looking to take care of you. He's looking. Look, now you're confused. Why are you looking like that?
I want to hear the rest.
Okay. If you think about it, a lot of men nowadays are preaching like, "Oh, all these women are independent. You're an independent woman, but you want my money and da 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 da." Like, if you think about it, you can. Okay, I'm not gonna say all because I was an independent woman before, but I can still be taken care of. I still know how to be submissive. I still know how to be in a relationship. But there are some independent woman who is like, I don't need a man for anything. And a man, like we were talking about in our last podcast, like, men like to feel needed. Men like to feel needed. They like to, you know, they're the ones who are the providers. They like to take care of. So if you're an independent woman, there's not much to take care of.
Okay, so all right, so I like that. All right, well, before I say what I have to say, I want you to tell me the other red flags before we can get too far.
Well, I wanted to add to that. So I teach my girls I'm independently dependent upon him. Right. So I can stand on my own, but when it comes to my receptiveness to receive, I'm allowing that. When it comes to me, I don't believe any woman should be looking anywhere but to her man if she's in need. She shouldn't have to get on the phone and say, "Oh, so and so and such and such, and I'm in a bind." No, you tell your man, or, "Hey, babe, so like today, like I got a podcast. Okay, what you need? You need some food over there. What's going on with baby girl?" Like that type of energy, right? How a man is supposed to provide relief. A lot of women are looking at men for an escape. In reality, it's supposed to be relief
for like the financial gain, but nothing more. And so I was. Finish with your red flags.
No, okay. So other red flags may be anything like the raising the voice, the him not respecting your boundaries. So so say we're in the first conversation or something like that, first or second conversation or second date, and he's like, "Oh, I take Ubers to my dates." If he doesn't send me the Uber, I take the Uber and I'm expecting him to Uber me home, or my ladies, whatever. This is what I teach my ladies. But
you expect him to Uber you home.
That's the expectation.
Why is that expectation? Let me play devil's advocate.
So if on the first date, so like I learned this a long time ago in network marketing, you book a date from a date, right? So you book a meeting from a meeting, so you book a date from a date. So if he asks me out on the second date, right, that means now we're getting into something. That means we have to start the vetting process. Are you willing to do something that makes you uncomfortable or that you don't necessarily do to provide me ease and comfort? Because that's what I'm looking for, right? Because I know as a woman, like you said, he gonna bring home the meat. I'm gonna cook him a meal. I'm gonna multiply whatever he has. So if he comes, this is great. So in order for me to know that he's a man that is deserving of that, then I have to vet him the same way he's going to vet you.
Right. So what if part of his vetting process is she gonna expect something out of my money? So now I'm gonna tell you something as a man. So me personally, I'm the type of man, I say this all the time, if I could touch the sun, I could put my physical hands on the sun, I'll bring it to my lady. You know what I mean? But the minute she acts like I have to, now we have an issue. Because I feel like once women get to the point where a man has to, you're supposed to do that. depreciation is eliminated. So if a woman was to look at me like standing on the curb after the date, and I'm like, where the fuck, like, you not going home? Like, and she's like, where's my Uber? Like, and she does that with her neck. We like, she's gonna be outside. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And respectfully, as a gentleman, I wouldn't let her go through, being on the side of the street. But that would be a red flag for me because of the expectation. Like, you're just expecting something out of my pockets. Respectfully, one of the green flags for me on a date, and this might go against what you tell your sisters, you know what I mean, your ladies, the beehive, is when I'm on a date, does she reach for something? Now, I mean, whether it's reaching for her wallet for the tip, reaching for the check just to be cute, things like that. It shows me the appreciation. Why do I say that? Is because a lot of people will fake it just to get a free meal, just to get a free experience. So anytime somebody's walking in that, a man is supposed to, a man has to, I'm already looking like, you're not going to appreciate what I want to do for you. Now, because in your head, I'm supposed to do this. I date. Do I want to bring her up? I'll bring her up. So I dated a girl that she was very much like that. Like, you're supposed to do this stuff. And every time I would do something, I didn't. Though. Yeah, and exactly. But
that's not what I teach my ladies.
All right, yeah.
So just like if you were to give, going with your Fortune 500 company, just like if you were to give feedback, or if somebody is a new hire, you're going to give them the standard and the expectation. I was in the military, so we have standards and then we have expectations. The standard is across the board. Expectations are the step above. Okay, so my ladies have a list of standards and then they have a list of expectations. So the standards is the bare minimum that he has to have, or for you to be treated this way. The expectation is like, it's a little razzle dazzle, a little cherry on top. You don't necessarily need it, but that's something that you're expecting. And there's a difference between entitlement and expectation. So entitlement is you're supposed to, don't you know who I am? You're going to treat me like this, or whatever. Yeah. But expectation is you just ask. If he does it, he does it. If he doesn't, then now it's because we're taking notes, remember? Because this is for real. This is my life. If I'm choosing my life partner, I have to be serious about it. So I'm taking notes. Noted.
And it's more so like you're it's not like you're setting him up to where you're not saying anything and he's just supposed to do it. It's more so like, hey, I'm gonna over there, if you mind, you Uber me back. Right. More so like setting it up versus like just him not knowing and then all of a sudden he's supposed to do it just because that's what you thought in your head. So I get what you're saying. So it's more so like the setup of it. Like there is going to be a discussion about it. Yes. And I'm going to ask you to, and I know that I'm expecting it. I know that that's something that I'm looking forward to, and you don't know that, but I know that. So me asking and setting it up is like my way of seeing, I guess, how far you're willing to go.
There you go.
I like that. That's very interesting. Cause like with my lady now, and I told the story on the last podcast episode, and it seems like I always talk about my lady. Who cares?
Yes, come on now.
One of the biggest green flags, especially living in Atlanta, is that like a lot of people are, again, like I said, they're out here for a free meal. My lady she wanted to spend time with me so much, she was willing to pay for her own way. From her paying for her own way on that one time, it trickled down into you're never touching your card again. You know what I mean? Because you showed me that appreciation. And I think a lot of men, especially like men of value, I'm not going to do the whole high value thing. You know what I mean? But men of value, they kind of fear that woman that is, she's faking it because she just wants the security, the financial security. It's like, I worked this hard for everything I've done and here you are with your hand out, so it's definitely a interesting perspective when you say that. But yeah, what was the other question you had, Mimi?
Well, hold on, I want to say something about that. So
what you got for me?
To me,
swing at me.
Right. To me, that has to do with your vetting process. So, or the caliber of women that you're choosing. Right. So if a man were to see me, if a man were to see me out, I have a certain air about myself. Right. So he would have an understanding that I can't go over here if I don't have boom, 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 boom. And I don't date men that are, I call it paranoid about their money or have unhealthy money habits or unhealthy relationship with money. Because men have an understanding that that's their risk. Women are taking a risk too when they go on dates. That's your risk.
What is the risk do you feel like a woman is taking?
Because I feel like women are more scared to take any risk. They rather just sit back and receive before they do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, what do y'all think is the risk that men are taking? I mean that women are taking.
So a woman
besides
is,
her time, of
yes,
course.
right. Here we go. Now see, now you get me. There you go. Boom. Time. Okay. So what does a man have to do? Get ready.
He also has to pay for the date.
Okay, that's nothing. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the expectation, that if we go on a date, that you would make sure that I'm comfortable. Because listen, here's the thing: food, substance. I should never have to argue about food. It's substance for my body. As a man, you're supposed to provide me with substance. Right?
I like it.
So you paying for a meal, that should be the expectation. That should be an honor, because you should be dating women that you're proud to be taking out. So if you're worried that if I pay this money that I'm not going to get a return on my investment, then you're kind of dating in the wrong way. You're dating backwards, because as we said before, anything you hand me, I'm going to multiply. You see up here in this brain got a whole MBA sitting up there. So if we're having a discussion about your business and I drop some information on you that is multi-million-dollar ideal information. See, now you done got how much return on your investment?
Yeah.
So, okay.
I feel like that's very valid. But I think the disconnect that I have with that is a man comes, okay, so we both have to get dressed. We both have to make our way here. We both have to spend time. But at the end of the day, the man is risking the most. Like, but if we're not talking about safety or anything like that, like the man is risking, he is using his resources in order for this moment to even happen.
Right.
Without his money, this date is not happening.
Right.
So now you have a man, you don't know how he works for his money. You don't know if he's even on his last. He's in this date not knowing whether or not this girl, we could be great on a 30-minute call. We could be great on text message. But once we get on a date, you could just be on your phone the whole time. And I would have never known that through our first conversation. I would have never known that you don't like deep conversation. So I'm really giving the most risk.
Okay. There we go.
Am I now?
We're going to pick up on risk. But see, I think I don't teach my girls to date men on that level. I teach my girls to date high vibrational men. High vibrational men have their finances together, because if you're dating for marriage, you need to be dating somebody that has their finances together. You need to be dating someone that if we go out on $100 date, that's not going to break you. You're not scared of losing that $100.
Yeah.
Because your financial security and backing is there.
Most definitely.
So I don't ever say a price or of income range, but just a mindset, because money is a mindset. Making money is a mindset. So if you have the mindset, a high vibrational mindset, then you have to understand that you should be dating women that you're equally yoked to. Those women should have that same type of mindset. Those women should be the type of women that are reading books and can talk about politics and can go to the art museum with you if you are of that mindset. But it all depends on what you're looking for. So when I'm developing my girls, this is what we're developing.
All right, little toast for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, we at 30.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Man, I'm sipping more. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
There is no judgment. Listen, okay, so there are a series of questions that we ask at each stage: the first date, in between the first and the second date, all the way up, right? So you also have that list. You have your list of your standards, your boundaries, and your expectations. So you're taking notes and checking off the whole way through. So if you're properly vetting him, now I'm not gonna say there are men that are
good,
so good. But if you're doing it the right way and you're sticking to what it is that you say that you really want, and you're not getting caught up in the glitz and the glam, then you're gonna eliminate 99.9% of the men off top, through the stages.
Goes into, I would say, the accountability. You need to be able to say, these are my standards, these are my expectations.
Right.
This is, even though he has the money, I would like, he needs to have these things too. Because again, there are also women who will say, $100 is not nothing to him. Okay, he's my type of man. It's like, you don't know that.
You
That's
don't
just
know
his
that.
finances.
Right.
Like, That's only one part of it. So what you're saying is you need to be accountable and make sure that you as a person is able to look through the glitz and glam and make sure that he's meeting those standards and expectations.
Yes. So I don't teach my girls to date wealthy or rich men. I teach my girls to date men of means. This is a complete, well-rounded man, like in every sense of the word. He plans, he protects, he provides, he prepares, he pursues. Like, this is what I'm teaching them to do, because a man can make $40,000 a year and make sure you never worry about anything in your life. It's not about a dollar amount. It's about the character of the man.
Say that again, please. Because I think that nowadays everybody is forgetting that part of it. It's not just about the finances. It's about, will he take care of you? When you're sick, is he going to give you medicine? Because I actually talked to a dude before, like, and, you know, he made a good amount of money fast. And, you know, that looks fun. That looks exciting, you know, to, I would say, women my age nowadays.
Especially in Atlanta.
Especially in Atlanta.
Let's hyphenate.
No, seriously.
Exclamation
when I was
point
sick,
twice.
And I asked him, I said, hey, you know, when you come back, can you bring me some medicine? He forgot the medicine. And that was one of the big, like, out of everything we dealt with, that was one of the biggest things for me, because I know that if the roles were reversed, you would have had tea, medicine, soup on the stove, you know, the whole nine. But because I asked you to bring the medicine back while I was sick and you didn't have it, your money didn't mean anything at that point.
Right. So that goes into that. It's not just the money. And I think a lot of women are caught up in the money of it, instead of really checking the character of the man that's attached to the money.
Right. I think that they forget, like, that you can make money and lose it all well. So you're going to be excited about that man that has all that money, and then he loses it all. And now you're with
and now you're stuck with that person.
Right. You're stuck with a terrible man with no money. Whereas before you didn't notice how terrible he was because he had the money.
Right.
So that's why, like you said, that character is important.
I like that. One of the things that I always say is I like to be with somebody that they will still be with me if God forbid Hurricane Katrina hit whatever side of Georgia this is, right? I ain't gonna put all that out there. But they would still be with me without any of the things I have. You know I mean? You will still be my best friend. You will still trust my discernment, you know, to get us through this, you know, situation. You know, women that are out there looking for a dollar sign on a man, y'all are bringing yourselves to those effed up positions. You know what I mean? You're looking, to me at least, and you can caveat, you're looking in the wrong direction to determine what kind of man this is, or what kind of man this man will be for you. You know what I mean? It's easy to throw money at you. It's so easy for me to send you a gift, but then I'm not consistent in texting you back. If you like phone calls at night, I'm not consistent in that. But it's easy to make you smile with something pretty on your arm. You know what I mean? You know, something to brag with your girls. We could do a trip every now and then. That's easy to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? But spending intentional time, you know what I mean, out of my day to do the little things, those are the signs. A dude that doesn't really care about you is not doing those things. You know what I mean? Granted, a lot of men really don't know how to be romantic, and this ties to a whole different side. But before we even get into that, what do you believe most people, not only women, should be doing during their single time?
Oh, developing yourself.
And what avenues would you say?
Every way you should be leveling up financially, spiritually, emotionally, your body physically, getting your health in check, taking care of your mental health. And every single aspect of it. That's what I was telling you earlier in my program. That's why we start. We start with self, and then we roll into, okay, now that we've gotten self together, now we roll into what is it your relationship you want your relationship to look like. And then the last part of it is how to date with all of this new discovered self and these new rules that you have out there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of videos and I listen to a lot of people, and there are times where, like, you'll notice that, like, a person, like, okay, when people are single, they go on this whole hiatus, they start working out, they start learning new skills, taking care of their skin, and then when they get into a relationship, all of that stops. You stop working out, you stop taking care of your skin. Why do y'all think that people's improvement for self ends once they find a partner?
I'll let you go.
So I think the main thing is that That's exactly why I teach what I teach, because it doesn't end there. It's not like, oh, you want a prize and you stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like you want a prize and you stop. And I that's what I was telling you about the sex therapist. The main reason she was saying was, women stop being everything they were doing. The number one complaint is women stop taking care of themselves. Women stop going to the gym. Women stop spending time outside of the house. And in reality, that's what turns a man on. That she's still about herself, that she's still focused on her, she's still developing who she is, and she can exist outside of me. But I am an addition to that.
Yep. So
I think that is the most attractive thing on social media right now. Like, you know what I mean, is seeing somebody work out. It's not the booty videos, y'all. It's not the booty bouncing videos. Ladies, it's the watching y'all self-improve. You know what I mean? And continue to do that. One of the things I love that my lady does, she goes to the gym every morning. That's time away from me, time away from her family. She's still like, okay, I have to do this for me. You know, anytime she has her moments of, I have to do this for my development, it's like, I love that, because I never want you to take away from my development either. You know what I mean? Two strong people come together, and that's what makes the powerful relationship. It's not we get together and just, you know, well, just be satisfied with, we're here now. Why are we still working hard? Nah, we still have to grow as individuals and still communicate about our growth. You know what I mean? In order to make sure we're still aligned. And I feel like that's why a lot of people grow apart. People will grow in different avenues and not communicate where they're at in that time of their life. But okay, so this is one of the biggest questions I get, and I want to hear what you got to say. So a lot of times people use the word heal. You need to heal. They use that very loosely, right? What does healing look like for you? What do you think it is for somebody to heal?
It's super ugly. It's super ugly. So a lot of people are on the wave of self-love and self-care and all this other stuff. And, you know, the girls will go out and they'll get their skincare routine and they'll go get massages and all of this, right? Well, that actually is not what self-care is. That's self-maintenance. That's not self-care. So when you're healing in your self-care journey, your self-love journey, it looks like unpacking why you do everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I feel like the trend now is, day 2 of my self-love, I decided to go get my favorite fruit bowl and drink water and watch my favorite movie. No, that self-love is you looking in the mirror. That's when that accountability unfolds. That's when you get rid of all of those old tactics that you used to do. That's when, instead of trying to cause havoc in hell, you cry, you let it out, you understand why you're feeling the way you feel. You know, you come up with a plan on how you're going to do better. Like, I feel like everybody on social media makes it seem like, self-love, let's go spend money. No, like, you're not going to feel better. You're going to eat that fruit bowl and you're going to still feel the same way.
Yes. A lot of people are afraid to be by themselves, though. And in order to really heal, you have to go through that process of self-isolation. And I think I've gotten really, really good at, I used to have an attachment issue. And so I was a bit of a codependent. And so I couldn't even let a text message come through and I not check it. I probably got 100 text messages on my phone now. I've been having open.
I was like that too. And I think my biggest thing was like, not even just with people, just with things, with jobs, with cars. Like, I remember one time my mom came to me and she was like, you know what, Tamia? She was like, you don't know how to let stuff go. And she's like, you're complaining about your car, you're complaining about your apartment, you're complaining about people around you. You have done nothing about it. Like, you're sitting in it, but you're complaining about it. And it had me thinking, I'm like, wow, like, I'm really my issue. Because if I was to just take these things and remove them and start new things, I would be better. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I didn't. And then the second that I did, everything elevated. And I feel like a lot of people also forget that. You have to let go to grow.
So I call myself the connector. I'm the connector. A lot of women want to do better. So this is where they are and they have these desires, but they don't know how to get to the desire. And so I like to see myself as a connector, because I come in and help you unpack all of that stuff. Like, okay, this is how you do this. I'm only gonna let you complain about something once, because if you say it the first time, you don't do anything about it, the second time it's a complaint. So what are we doing about it? A lot of people are just on the merry-go-round and they don't know how to get off.
You want to know what's so funny?
What is that?
I saw a video and the guy was like, the thing about the difference between men and women will complain. And if you tell your man a complaint, he will go to problem solving. And a lot of women, they don't want to problem solve. They just want to complain. And I was like, that's not true. Then I was like, yes, it is.
Nah, yeah, that's true.
I'm one of them.
Very true.
About something, and my boyfriend's like, well, babe, let's do like this. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, but in reality, that's when you fix it. Like, yes. But I feel like a lot of women that I want to say that's more about an emotional side. Like that's more of the emotional side of us. Whereas like, because I would say I just developed the ability to problem solve for myself. But because before it would be very easy for me to problem solve for other people. If you come to me with your problem, I can tell you exactly how to fix it. But it was myself, I couldn't do that. And so it kind of took, time and years and like my boyfriend to kind of help me understand that you're complaining about things that you can fix, but you're not trying to fix them.
Good for your boyfriend for pouring into you.
I like that. Yeah. So, all right. So let's go back on the steps on healing. So we have I feel like we all just tapped on the accountability side. What do you think are the other things that people aren't really, thinking of? Like what side of healing, I guess, should they tap into?
I think that a lot of people just need to understand that there's a reason why they do everything. There's a reason, mostly everything you do in your adult life goes back to your childhood. So most people are walking around here at age 12 or 14 or 8 sometimes. And because they just stop emotionally growing at that age for whatever reason. So you really have to kind of reverse engineer it and go all the way back to like, why am I like this? Why does it upset me when, what are my triggers? So you can still be triggered, but what is your response to the trigger now? So when you're in the healed state, your response is different to the trigger than when you're in an unhealed state. So you really have to go back and tap into your triggers. Why do I feel this way? What is happening for me to respond like that? Where do I want to be and what do I need to do now to get there? So I teach a lot about manifestation too. So we can wish on a star all day, but it's about alignment. I can sit here and be like, I'm gonna have $50,000 in this month I'm gonna make $50,000. But if I lay in the bed all day, what did I do?
Yes, that's another thing. I feel like social media has like created this false narrative that if you just say it, you're gonna have it. No, that's not true. You have to put work behind it. I would say my relationship today.
There's some truth to saying and you'll have it. I think so. When people say manifest, I think they're re-engineering your thought process because so many people talk so negatively that your life is manifesting negativity. I mean, so just saying it is it's rewiring your mind to eventually make action because now you believe it's possible because you've spoken it. So I feel like that's
an internal thing.
Say that one more time. I can hear you.
I feel like that's okay. So when people say manifest and I hear it and I say, oh, if you just say it, if you just put it in the universe, I feel like when you're saying it, it should be poured into you. So in your case, you have to rewire your brain. I don't think that saying it into the universe will help, but I think if you say it to yourself and you rewire your brain, then yes, then that manifestation can become something. But if you say, like you said, I'm going to make $50,000 and you lay in the bed, you can't make $50,000 that way.
So there's a major difference between an affirmation and a manifestation. So the rewiring of the brain would be the affirmation.
Okay.
The manifestation would be, I literally can be driving and be like, dang, there's no parking spots. Oh, I need a parking spot. And somebody will be back. I'll turn the corner and then somebody will be backing out. But you got to be in the frequency already. Your mind has to already be there. You have to trick yourself into being happy because feeling is everything. Everybody is a manifestation. Whether it's good or bad, you brought that into your life. You thought that it's something in your life. You be like, dang, why did I think that?
I've manifested a lot of things like life-changing things that I would think and would happen in 2 months. As soon as they happen, I would say I did that. I know I did that. And a couple of things have happened, like Chance, when Chance got pregnant. I said that. I said it before it happened. I had a conversation with my mom on the phone.
So you the reason why Charlize had a baby at 16?
I was on the phone. With my mom.
Is that you? Is what you said?
My mom, and I told her, I was like, she shouldn't be over there because she's gonna end up having a baby.
Yeah.
2 months later, it happened, and I was like, I said that, and it was something else that happened to me. Like it was something with my car, and I think I like thought some negativity about my car. I'm just like, this car's gonna like break down on me. It's gonna be over with. The car was over with. And I was like, I couldn't get mad at anybody.
There's power in the tongue.
I said it. I said it.
God has gave us that power.
Into the universe. Like I put that energy out. And because I already had a negative like aura and just energy about my car, it was bound, it was more likely to happen.
Right. If you would have put a little gratitude in there and say, I'm so happy and grateful I have this vehicle that takes me and my family here and there. I'm manifesting a car. I'm manifesting a paid for car, convertible. Okay. BMW, that new little bluish grayish color.
I love
top
that
down.
color.
And I gotta have a red.
God did say be specific.
Yeah. So I drive a 2011 Camry, right?
Shout out to the Camry gang.
Yeah.
Gang.
She got
Okay.
over 200,000 miles, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it takes me where I need to go.
So I think that's something else that we have to talk about too, or just put out there. Like in order for you to grow as a person, in order for things to work in your favor, you also have to be grateful for where you are now.
Right.
Because I feel like it's very easy to just be ungrateful for the position that you're in, because you see where else, somewhere else you want to go. You ask God or the universe, for those who don't believe in God. You ask the universe or God to.
You ask God. This is my platform. We're gonna talk about God.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was just trying.
You know what I mean?
But like, you ask God.
If you believe in universe and not God, you're on the wrong platform, brother or sister. I'm sorry.
Well,
you know
I
what
call
I mean?
it God's universe.
Next channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I call it God's universe.
You ask God's universe to be on the left, right? God's universe puts you on the left. And then now you're looking over the right. You want to be at the right. Now you're ungrateful for that. But and you're just like, why can't I get over there? Because you're not even grateful for where you are
For
now.
where he has you.
Right.
I love that.
That has happened to me so many times where I would just be so upset at where I was or where I wanted to be. And so I took a second and was like, you know what? I asked for this. I need to be appreciative of what I have or where I'm at, because 6 months ago, I was in a way worse position. As soon as I'm able to open up that appreciation, I'm able to just bask in what I have, boom, that door opens. Now the blessing or the extension of grace that I'm being given is there, not because I just worked so hard and I rushed into it and I ran to it, because I was able to sit and say, you know what, where I'm at, I need to be satisfied and I need to be thankful. Okay, now that you're thankful, you can handle what I gave you here. Let me give you this too.
Yes. Talk that talk, Mimi. But yeah, I believe. Damn, y'all said a mouthful. All right, so I'm just gonna jump into this next question. So, what do you guys feel like are some things people should not be doing during their healing journey? Yeah.
Sex.
Huh?
Sexual intercourse. I feel like you're dragging along that negative energy and that unhealed energy and passing it along.
As a woman who has been celibate for 3 years.
3? Yeah. That's like 900 days. Let's toast on 3 years.
That is not. Oh Lord! Wow. Yeah, I'm coming up on year 4.
Keep it on the charger. You ain't tricking me.
Oh no, for sure. Mr. Rose is a mess. But anyways, I feel I'm with you on that, because I think that sex confuses things.
It makes you think you love a person.
It makes you think you love someone exactly that you don't love. I don't think you should be having sex. I think during the healing. So I was saying earlier, when my girls come on my program, we don't date the first 3 months, because you're healing and you're not ready. If you go out there with all of that ugliness that you have inside of you, all the unhealed stuff you have inside of you, you're going to vomit. Or I call it throwing up on somebody who didn't hurt you. A lot of people's triggers come from not being healed and not knowing how to respond. Like girls will say to me all the time, men just want sex. No, you're attracting men that want sex.
And I was going to say that too. Like when you go out here unhealed, there are men that can smell it. They can smell it. They can see it. They are fishing for women like you. And because instead of healing yourself, you decide to go out there and date and, oh, well, he broke my heart. I'm going on 7 dates this week. Right. Now you're 3 bodies in trying to get over this person that he's not doing the same thing. Or maybe he is, but you're the damaged one now.
Okay, so this is what I teach my girls. I said men have been studying us for thousands of years because the only way to multiply themselves is to be with us. So they've been studying us. I said a man can see you coming from a mile away. And women have to learn how to study men. Like last night I went out and I just sat at the table and I just watched the room. I'm studying. I'm seeing how they move, and I'm seeing what kind of men come into this place. Is this a place I need to bring my clients back to? Or do I need to keep it moving? Like you have to study men. And so within the healing journey, if you are not healed, you will miss what you're supposed to be doing and you'll become unaligned. So I listened to loop it back around, I listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks. And in order to get your man, the man that you're supposed to have, the man that God designed for you, you have to be aligned. And I think back to, I got chills. I think back to who I was before, and I wanted to be married. And I used to be like, well, why am I not getting married? Why am I not getting married? Like, I want to be married. I want to share my life with somebody. But had I been given that at that time, I would not have deserved my husband, and my husband wouldn't have deserved me.
I say it all the time. Like the relationship I'm in now, I feel like who I was before, I would have never been able to appreciate him because like I learned a lot from experience, and I took the time to understand who I was and what I wanted and really just studied me. It's very easy to, as a woman, because like you said, there are women out here who are, hunting for us. So it's very easy for you to go out here and get you a man. But is it the man that is quality? Is it, like you said, you could want to be a husband, but are you husband material? There's a difference. So I had to take the time to really understand what I wanted, who I was, and what qualities I brought in order to actually receive, a healthy relationship. So
it seems like, unlike a lot of women, you understood how to get out of it. And I'm self-taught too. Yeah. I had to teach myself how to get out of it. I just knew whatever the reality was, I could create my own reality. Right. And I don't want that. Like if I get to choose, that's not what I want to do.
And it really took for me to be in a relationship and like be like, actually, this is not what I want. Yeah, you love me. And I feel like that's another thing. You love me, but you don't love me how I want to be loved. You love me in the way that you know how. And that's okay, but it's just not going to work for me. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays also, they feel like, well, I love this person and they love me. But does y'all love work? Because there's a difference between you love me and I'm loving you, but our love not being healthy.
Right.
Okay, so I definitely believe that sex definitely clouds judgment. I feel like people have this, I don't know, this idea, and I see why. Why people have an idea of if we have sex, then we are now closer or, but you have skipped so many steps by the time you're having, or if you're having sex early. Matter of fact, no, you are skipping a lot of steps because the first step you need to take is to heal whatever it is you just experienced in order for you to give up your body again. Now, your womb, that is the most sacred place there is. Like, that's somebody entering to your body. You know what I mean? Like that's sacred. This is your temple. So I would say definitely, and never feel bad because you don't want to give up your body. I think a lot of people feel like, no, I don't want him to be mad, or I don't want to be rejected. You're scared of rejection. So making the best decision for yourself, it is the best thing you can do for the long term. All right. So deal with that, him rejecting it. He doesn't understand why you're covering your wound, you're covering your health, or whatever, you want to call it or whatever. If he does not understand it, that's not the man for you. The man for you understands what healing looks like. Right. The man for you understands the steps for healing and that healing is needed. The man for you also wants a woman that is healed and not a woman that is hurt. A woman that's hurt is easy to manipulate. You know what I mean? So if you're out here tapping into men while you're hurt, more than likely you done found the wrong man.
Right. And they take
You have to know yourself in order for somebody to know you properly. And you never want to introduce yourself as the unhealthy you. Now, I mean, that's like me walking around. That's like me going to the basketball court, playing basketball with a bad ankle. I'm not even operating in how good I can play, but I just want to be on the court, because I don't want nobody to think I'm not good anymore. Hence why my fingers, is messed up, but yeah, you have to have that self-love, to say, no, like I'm not laying down with nobody. I feel like when you don't have sex, you're also coming from more of a clear mind as well. Now, I mean, all of that dopamine that's released in sex is now being put in other avenues, and you're able to pay attention to other things. You're also able to see, okay, if I don't give this man sex, will he still stay around? Does he see something else in me other than my sexual aura that I could possibly give him? Does he see anything else in me? Now, I mean, because if you take sex off the table, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all ladies and fellas, when you show that you have sexual discipline, people put you in a different category. It's like a library. Like your book, for what they know you to be, goes over there, because it's rare that people have sexual discipline. Having sexual discipline could trickle into so many other things, especially for the fellas. Now, fellas, I'm talking to y'all. Having sexual discipline in your single time it'll make it much easier for you to be loyal to that woman too when you finally get her as well. A lot of people say to me, yo, how do you do a long distance relationship? How like, bro, like somebody said yesterday, bro, you still with the same girl? Now, I mean, and it's like, okay, I get it. My book is in the library is over there now. Yeah, I mean, my discipline that I shared with myself, the discipline that I practiced in my single time, made it easy for when I'm in a relationship. It doesn't just turn off as soon as you get in a relationship. Right. You still won't have sexual discipline. You're not always going to be around your lady. Now, I mean, your lady's not always going to want to have sex. Yeah, I mean, so you having that sexual discipline, like, it trickles into so much more in your life. Mm-hmm. So, that being said, I just said a lot. So all right, so sex. People should not be having sex. All right, sex. We just said a lot of sex. What else do we feel like people should not be doing during their healing journey? Because I really want people to be able to heal properly. I want people to be able to go through the process and be like, that was a well spent time
and understand.
Yeah, I think I'm actually giving it now. I'll let y'all. One of the best things I did during my healing journey was first of all, I mean, pen to paper. Like I brought it back to the old days. You know what I mean? Pen to paper, pencil to paper, the lead pencil, everything. You know what I mean? It feels good because a lot of the thoughts that we have throughout the day, we have the thoughts, then they go away, and then we're on to the next thing, and then those thoughts come back. You don't even realize how many things is actually triggering you, throughout your day. One of the main things that I had to write down was why that person didn't even deserve me. Now, I mean, because once I read that, and I read it back after I wrote it down, I read it back from the perspective of a friend coming to me with their issues. Your vision and your understanding is a lot more clear when you come from a perspective of helping somebody else. You know what I mean? So like when you read that back and you start, that person didn't even deserve me. That person projected. One of the biggest things, I mean, and I'm kind of answering it. One of the biggest things for healing for me has been to shift my perspective on all of the things that I didn't understand where that person was coming from. Now, I mean, their domestications was projected onto me. Hey man, this part of the episode is brought to you by Burnout Challenge Fitness. Hey man, if you got any type of body goal, if you're trying to get a bigger booty, a little booty, and you ain't got no gym equipment, you got gym equipment, you want to get your arms bigger, your chest bigger, you don't know what workouts to do, download Burnout Challenge Fitness. It is on the App Store, all right? So yeah, just to wrap that, basically just shifting my perspective of what I just went through, because a lot of times we blame ourselves for things that was not actually our fault. People have experienced things within their life that has nothing to do with you, but it all shaped the perspective that they have on other people. Now, I mean, we put so much trust in other people's judgment, then now we walk away hurt as if that person's understanding was the end all be all. But what if that person, again, was projecting their domestications that they experienced in life onto you that wasn't warranted, and now you're sitting there trying to heal from something that person actually has healing to do. You know what I mean? And that had nothing to do with you. I think that was the best thing I got to the point of in my mind. It was like a lot of those things that I allowed myself to deal with, I should not have allowed myself to deal with that. But it wasn't me. Like all that judgment that I was trusting, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? It was all the hurt she went through. She was spewing it onto me. Mm-hmm. All right. So
but that goes back to that unhealed thing. Mm-hmm. Like that's why I say you're bleeding on someone that didn't cut you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm.
And now that person that's unhealed bleeding on the person that is healed, now that's someone else that's unhealed.
Yeah, but the beauty of that is that a person who is healed understands that you can't pull up an anchor. It's the reason why it's called an anchor. Mm-hmm. So you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna give you some time to deal with that. And a lot of times, even when you're in a relationship, when someone's hitting not just a speed bump, but a hurdle, and they're not willing to redirect, you have to give them time to handle that. There are women out here who are dating men with children on the way, and I don't know, they got some stuff going on. You got to give him time to deal with that. And it's okay to say, I'm going to let you go over here and I'm going to be here, but right now you need some time to deal with that.
So what do you tell those women that feel like, okay, well, they're hopeful? Because, okay, so I know someone who, she dealt with a dude for a long time, and they just, they kind of haven't really figured it out completely. And so he's somewhere else, she's here, and like she still holds on to that hope. And so I'm the type of friend where, unfortunately, I can typically smell the BS.
No, that's fortunately.
Well, I'm saying unfortunately for them, because
unfortunately,
a lot of people don't want to hear it, but I can smell the BS, and I would tell people who are like going through a bad breakup or dealing with somebody who they can't let go, and I say, make a list of reasons why you shouldn't be with them and read the list, because when you read the list, you'll realize this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So, some women will feel like they're saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna let him go over here and do him. I'll do me, and we'll come back together. Instead of saying, you know what, that's not what I'm not supposed to be with him, so I'm gonna let him go over there and be over there. Some women like to let the man go and they come over here, but they still kind of have their eye on him, watching him.
Yeah, that's not letting it go though.
Yeah, waiting for that time for them to be back together. So what do you say to those women who have that hope where there shouldn't be hope? It should just be a let go.
I think that has to come into understanding your worthiness for situations. And a lot of times we sit in situations that we're unworthy of because we don't understand the full capacity of our worthiness. And so there's nothing wrong with being hopeful, but I have a concept that people say like feminine energy, right? Mm-hmm. The more you're in your feminine energy, the more your intuition is heightened. So I can tell that when you say I had a feeling or I had it, that's your feminine energy. So, but men have an energy pool too. So the moment that you go out and you start living your life, that's why your ex start texting you.
Oh, baby, let me tell you something.
He can feel that energy.
Let her finish.
Yeah. Sorry, you can feel that. You can feel that energy. So for the people who have hope. Like I got this much space for you here, but I'm over here. I'm doing this. I'm leveling up. Mm-hmm. And when he feels that pull, if you really want your man to come back, ladies, that's what you do. You go do you. Like, yeah. And for real though. Not for fake, like, oh girl, I'm just waiting. I've been watching his page and he posted on this stuff. All of that, that's foolishness. Mm-hmm. Really go do you. And I can almost guarantee you're going to get that text.
Every time.
And not the hey big head text, I messed up. Like I wasn't expecting my ex. So before he proposed, we had broken up. We had been broken up for almost 1.5 years. Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting that. But I went and did me. Mm-hmm. And then he came back around.
Right.
I didn't worry about over here. I love that man to this day. But like I said, you got to understand alignment.
Right. Mm-mm. And it's okay. It's also okay to go and do you and discover hey, that's actually not my man. Or it's okay for you to go over here and discover, hey, I actually want more. But you have to go through the step of going over there and actually doing you. You can't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tariq, men can typically tell the fake do you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. Oh my, look, if you got to post everything, you're not really doing you. You trying to show somebody you trying to do you. Like you're not fooling nobody. All the, oh boy, y'all gonna make me go in. God damn.
Please do.
I should not do this.
Oh my gosh, like these dudes been on my body all night. Like those don't really show you doing you. Like you said, the exercising, the learning a new skill, the elevating your finances, getting your skin clearer, what I'm saying, reading more, journaling. Those are the things that we consider doing you, not going to the club, getting drunk to 3 a.m. and going throwing up outside and then going home. That's not the doing you we're talking about.
That is not the do you. The dude's just watching like, yeah, I'm so glad I left her ass. I knew she was capable of this shit.
Like literally.
I like this. All right. So we done walked down what people should not be doing during their healing time.
I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
Don't contact the ex. I feel like you need
you said don't contact your ex.
Don't contact your ex.
Contact.
You need a clean break.
Describe no contact for us.
That's not checking their social media. That's not accepting the calls. Everyone needs a cooling off period. And after a while, we can do that. But while you're healing, it's none of that phone call. It's none of that text. It's, I'ma just, he survived without you. He was a whole man before you ever showed up. So he's going to be okay if you don't answer that text or help him find that file.
Yeah. That was my biggest thing. I had this mindset where I was the hero and he wouldn't be okay. And he always needed me. So I have to be there. Even though he hurt me, I need to be there for him. But it was like, no, when you let people figure it out, they will figure it out.
So no checking Instagrams, you know what I mean? Do you have a no contact period? Like, is there a certain amount of time that you feel like somebody should not reach out? Like, or just no contact at all? Like, go cold turkey.
If you would like him, if your desire is for him to lean forward and come to you, then you have to step back. So there's nothing that you need to say or do. It is up to him. I always say, every man knows how to get his girl back. Right. Every man knows the exact things to do to get his girl back. That's why he can leave you and go to the next girl and do everything you just asked him for, because he understood. So if he really truly wanted you back, he would do what he needed to do to come get you. He would, yeah.
So what about the women with kids? Her desirable man is her kid's father, or her...
like women that are holding on to the family, like, I want my family. It's like, at what point in time should a woman be like, you know what, maybe my family is not the most, well, maybe this family that I'm trying to create is not the most healthy, option for me. I mean, honestly, I think that the answer, I don't even want to put that question on you. I think the answer is kind of evident. Like, once it becomes unhealthy to you, know that kids, they're the closest thing to the divine. They can feel energy. I think a lot of people get to the point where, especially when you have a kid with somebody, you get to the point where it's like, oh my God, like, I don't want my child to grow up like I did, and I want them to have the best. I want them to experience. I want them to experience, the mom and the dad, something better than what I experienced. But you have to realize, in my eyes, you are doing more of an injustice to that child by keeping this unhealthy example in front of the child. So although, the family dynamic, it will be something the kid experiences, mommy and daddy. But now the kid is going to repeat what they see, which is this unhealthy, unhappy relationship that is staying together just because you believe family is the end all be all. This may not be the family for you. The thing about it is, I think people go too far away from how kids even happen. Like, let's be honest. A lot of kids, it wasn't a conversation that happened before. All right, look, tonight, we're going to lay down and we're going to have a son. If we don't have a son, we're going to have a daughter. We're going to name the daughter. Like, a lot of people wind up pregnant, So you may have wound up pregnant with somebody that was not actually for you. And you have to accept that. You can't keep holding on to believing that, no, I can make this person for me. The same way if you were single and you would get to the point where you're like, yeah, this guy is not healthy for me. I shouldn't be with him. Sad to say it, I believe it should be the same way if you have a kid. Now, I mean, you have to see it the same way, or you are setting a bad example for your child. Yeah, I mean, your child is going to allow themselves to either go through something like that or use the examples of daddy not treating mommy properly as this is how love is being shared. That is not. And did you have something you want to say?
No, that's exactly.
That's
exactly what everything I would have said.
Yeah. So all right. So now we have the healing in the single time. Lastly, at what point should somebody know that they're healed and it's time for them to start dating?
So healing is a constant evolution of yourself. So there's no specific point in time. And where I went wrong personally is I took such a hiatus from dating that when I got back out there, I realized like, oh, you should be dating through the healing process, but you have to know when that time is. Like if you go out there and it's like you're still kind of like hurt and triggered by a lot of stuff, you got to go back. But you can get to a point in your healing journey where my concept on dating is that dating is to get to know yourself. It's know what you like and don't like about yourself, like and don't like about your partner, and what you need in your life. So you should be using dating in that tool, as a tool to get you where you want to go, right? So I believe that when you get back out there, if you can understand how to respond to stuff in a healthy way instead of the same manner you used to before, then you'll be okay, because you have to utilize those people as checkpoints, as markers in your dating life.
So would you say that like women and men should use dating to learn what they like and don't like? Because I feel like people go into dating thinking that they know what they like and don't like, but they don't actually take the time to learn, hey, I thought I liked that, I actually don't. And that causes them to deal with things that they're uncomfortable with, because in their mind, that's what they actually like, or in their mind, that's what they expect themselves to like. And then they experience it and learn that's actually not what they like.
So I absolutely think that's what dating is for. I think dating is a tool to get to your special person, your significant other, or to even find yourself. So I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, I just want to be happy. So if happy means I'm dating, I'm married to a man, wonderful. But I'm not willing to exchange my happiness for anyone else.
Okay.
So I feel as if dating is the asset you should be using to discover yourself.
So what do you say to those women who are like, I just don't have time for dating, and I'm just gonna focus on myself? And in reality, she wants to date. She wants a man. I wouldn't say she doesn't know how to juggle her time, but she doesn't know how to go about dating. What do you say? Because there are women out here who just rather make the excuse that they don't want a man right now and they don't have time for it, when in reality they do. They're just scared of dating. Okay. What would you say to those women?
So that's wonderful. So I teach multi-dating, or the roster dating. So women will say, well, I don't have time to date more than one man. No, you have time to date more than one man. You don't have time to be in a relationship with more than one man. So everyone has the same amount of hours in a day. Everyone has time where they're watching TV or they're scrolling on the internet or whatever it is. But number one, if it's important to you, you're going to carve out that time, and you can go on one date a week. Okay, I only date on Tuesdays. When I go out and I'm shopping for men, I shop for men on Thursdays and Sundays. Those are the only days I shop for men. That's the only time I have to do it.
Where do you go?
Oh, I go a couple places.
Where's your spots?
Let me tell you. Okay, so I think an excellent place here in town to go look for men, shop for men. So let me hold on. First of all, let me be very clear. Where I'm supposed to be looking. You can find a man anywhere.
I found my man in the club.
Right. I've had men approach me at the post office. I've had men post me at the gas station. You can find a man anywhere, in the hospital, anywhere. There's men anywhere. You just gotta look up.
Where's the spot that you said was a good spot?
A good spot to go look for men is Whiskey Mistress. Whiskey Mistress on Fridays or Sundays. I can walk in Whiskey Mistress, and I think it closes at 12 on a Sunday. I can walk in there at 10, and by 11 I will have 3 numbers of quality men.
That's the difference. Not the dude that's on top of the table with the bottle in his hand, throwing napkins. Okay. Quality. There's a difference, because I feel like that's another thing in this generation. Women feel like, oh, I get dudes. You can get dudes and all 5 of them don't have a car. You have to have some type of man that's quality. Just because you have 6 different dudes in your phone and one of them is quality, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it's very easy to get a dude. You know what I'm saying?
It's very easy to get a girl. Well, I mean, for some people.
No, be quiet.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not easy for everybody to get a girl.
Back to you, Jack.
To be honest, women are more selective than men when it comes to who we're interested in.
Yeah.
So I feel like when women say like, "Oh, I get dudes, I got like this many different dudes," that
should be the easiest damn thing to get. Look, that most men's mission is to get a girl. You know what I mean? You know how many dudes I expect walk up to just women just throughout the day? Like, that should be the easiest thing. Like,
there are some men out here just doing it just to see if they can get your number.
I think women should do that too.
Yes. Let's talk about it, because I feel like women are so used to like, oh, I'm gonna sit back and let that man come get me. Ma'am, just because he comes to get you, that doesn't mean that, oh, he's super interested. He may just be testing his faith. He may just be testing his ability to talk to women. You might just be practiced. So you can't in your mind think just because this man came to talk to you that you're that girl, because not necessarily. He could be saying the same thing that he just said to you to the girl outside, and you wouldn't know that. So I feel like as women, don't be scared to go get that man too. That way, if he's interested, if he's available, you can tell that, versus you sitting back waiting for that man to come get you.
So what's your version of go get that man?
Yeah.
I feel like, so it's more so you can start a conversation, like,
Okay, we're on the same page with this. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I would say, because I don't believe in women approaching men, but I do believe women placing themselves in a man's orbit.
Yes, I was literally just about to say, so he's at the bar, right? There's a spot over there. There's a spot over there. He's standing right there. You can stand next to him.
You sure can.
You can stand next to him. You can say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I apologize. Hey, bartender." Da 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 da. You could
I
say
like to
something
ask
out
them
loud.
to get the bartender for me. I can't.
Can you get the bartender for me? No.
Listen,
Well, damn.
Listen, at that same place. I'm
playing.
crazy because at the same place, Whiskey Mistress. That's why I said there's a certain night to go, because Saturday night is not the night for what I'm talking about. So it's same thing. I'm like, oh,
That's when the fellas is in there.
Well, a different type of guy. Yeah, different type of guys come there on Saturday night. But nonetheless, okay, so I'm in line. I threw this Galentine's event. So I had reserved all these tickets to get in for 11 o'clock, but we're running late for dinner. And I'm like, oh, excuse me, sir. Me all trying to be like, He's like, I was like, we're trying to get in before 11 o'clock. What you want me to do about it? I don't work here. Oh. Okay then.
Clutch my pearls.
Right. So but you got to be ready for that. I think women absolutely should approach men.
But that's because, what it is, like, women are taught to sit back and, go hunt, and the men are taught to hunt. But because modern society, everything has changed, it's okay to be a part of that change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's another thing, like the fear of rejection, because, women are not used to rejection, because, like I said, men are not as selective as women are. So it's very easy, for a woman to feel like, well, he got to come to me. I ain't going to him. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not the ones who are used to the rejection. Men are used to rejection. Men are used to, okay, well, I'm going to talk to 5 of these girls and at least 2 of them going to bite. Maybe 3 of them won't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the usual.
It is a numbers game, ladies. It's a numbers game.
But men, right?
For both. I think women, the more...
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Because women will love saying how they have 10 different dudes. It's like, ma'am, you can't... If your tire goes flat right now, you can't call another dude.
And see, that's the thing. It's not a flex if he's not adding value to your life. It's not a flex.
Yes.
Same thing for the fellas. I think so. There's a huge misconception, like, with the whole word simp. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of dudes, I think they don't like chivalry. I think I'm saying the word right. They don't like chivalry because they're scared of looking like a simp. I feel like a simp, for a man or a woman, is to deal with somebody or to do something for somebody that's not reciprocating.
I blame women.
That, huh? Huh?
I blame women for that.
Why do you blame women for that?
Because a dude could do something for that woman, right? And she take advantage of it, right? And so he done told his homeboys about it. And it's like, oh man, it's cool, right? Then he does it again, and another woman does it. Now it's like, oh, you're looked at as a simp. Or some women have this aura like, oh yeah, I got him doing X, Y, and Z for me. I ain't do nothing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know
I see what you're saying.
So I feel like because of the woman's like gloating about it, that's what caused like the simp term. I don't really think it came from men, because men were, they were natural providers. They were the hunters, so it was natural. But I feel like because the women kind of got big-headed and felt like, oh, their collection of men got bigger, so they're that girl, and no
dude wants to be that dude.
Yeah, so that's where the whole simp term came from. That's my opinion.
I don't think men, y'all need to understand that there's nothing wrong with treating a woman like she's a queen, like a real queen, loving the experience with you if she deserves that. I mean, I'm not for treating everybody the same. Everybody does not deserve the same thing from you. Yeah, I mean, I remember back when I was playing the dating game or whatever, and I was out at the bar, macking at the bar, I met a lot of low vibration women. You know what I mean? Horrible. You know what I mean? From the high. From the you want to drink. Like, it was just like, no, they don't deserve that. I mean, you still need to love yourself, but the queen she's there for you. Yeah, I mean, this is the quality of woman that you want. There's nothing wrong with being a king to that queen. Now, I mean, we need to get away from thinking that it's soft to plan a surprise whatever for your woman. Now, I mean, on a regular Thursday, I think we've gotten to the point where Valentine's Day is the only day it's okay to be romantic. I promise you, your girl is waiting for you to do something on a regular Thursday. She's waiting for you to step up and just surprise her on a regular Tuesday. But you're sitting around like, bro, I don't want to look like a simp. Nah, that's soft. Who does that? I don't see none of my bros doing that. Listen, how do you think you separate yourself from the crowd? You do something you don't see getting done. Just because you don't see it getting done doesn't mean your woman doesn't want it. Right. Now, I mean, my whole thing is my lady, I want her to love the life experience that she's having while she's my lady. Yeah, I mean, and vice versa. I mean, but that's for the woman that deserves that. Right. There's nothing wrong with being romantic, playing the slow jam, sending her the playlists, and dedicating songs like my dad used to always tell me to do back in high school. Now, I mean, it's not wrong with doing these things. Women, they appreciate that. Not only that, it's like, you could look at yourself like, I'm a smooth, you know what I mean? It's not all about how many girls you could get in the bed. How good you could perform in the bed. It's what you're doing outside the bed that makes her want to jump in your bed. You know what I mean? And that's just facts.
And as a man, I feel like
Well, I'm preaching tonight. All right. I'm going to pass around the offering soon. Real damn.
As a man, I feel like you also you have to, like, just like a woman has to take accountability, as a man, you have to take accountability. You knew she wasn't interested, but you kept on going. You kept on going. You kept on pressing. You kept on pushing. You sending her flowers. She's sending you a dry thank you text. Then she texts you at 12 o'clock asking for food. You send it to her. She don't even tell you thank you, and you keep it going. As a man, who can you blame? Because you didn't take the signs of she's not interested, and you did that with 5 women before you said, I ain't about to keep on doing this with women. I'm about to start treating them like X, Y, and Z. Like, well, you had to ask yourself, I'm doing all this for this woman. Is this woman interested? Can you go?
Is she even for me?
Right. If this was your son, would you be happy that your son is doing all this for this woman that's not showing interest? Like, as a man, and I feel like a lot of men like walk around with this like hate about women, but it's like your experience with women is not your experience with the women in whole. It's just those women that you chose to
those
pour
women
into.
That you had. Yeah, that's the experience.
You decided to pour into those women and then created this aura or this energy about women and this vendetta against women when it's not women, it's you.
It's you. It's like your choice on women.
Yes, just like women have to be accountable for the men that they choose, a man has to be accountable for, hey, I'm doing and I'm pouring more into this woman than she is pouring into me, and I can tell she's not interested, but I'm gonna just do this one more thing and just maybe that'll change her mind. A woman that's interested and a woman that's open to being in a relationship with you, or she's open to wanting to be with you, it's not going to be, just like a man, confusing. It's not going to be confusing. It's not going to be hard. She's not going to be complicated. She's not going to send you mixed signals. It's going to be very simple. Love is not complicated. Love is not hard. Love is not confusing. A healthy love, I'm going to say that because there are some confusing loves. But a healthy love is not confusing. It's not hard. There aren't games. It's simple. It's simply two people being able to pour into each other without the, the insecurities and the toxic tactics and the games and the
people get so tied in the games of a relationship and the confusion and the constant trying to understand things you shouldn't be trying to understand.
What's your version of a game, though?
What is my version of a game? My version of a game is I love you today, but tomorrow I'm gonna treat you like I don't love you. You know what I mean? And then once you give me that attention, now I'm gonna pull the attention away from you. Now I mean, it's constantly a battle of who's gonna, who has the ball in their hand, who loves who more. That is a game. Love should not feel like that. I should not feel like, you should not make me feel like you don't love me just for me to show you more love. And then when I show you more love and then you show me more love, you reciprocate the love. And now I pull back. Now, I mean, like, that's a game. Love should not feel like that. Love should feel like I love you today and I'm going to love you tomorrow.
A lot of people's games are them spilling unhealed parts of themselves on others, though. So sometimes I had this one client and she was dating this gentleman. He needed to be affirmed all the time. And she said she felt like she was drained from it. So when he wasn't feeling affirmed or when he was looking to be affirmed, he would pull back so that she would move forward. And, I asked her how long she wanted to do that.
And that's what I mean by women trying to love you into loving them. Like you can't, when a man is sending you signals like he's not sure, you giving him more of what he already doesn't appreciate is not going to make the relationship healthier, and it's not going to make him love you more or appreciate it. He's just going to keep doing the same thing. He's trying to get that high. You're a great woman. He knows that. You know that. But it's not about the person you are. It's about the high that he needs to get. And I feel like that's another thing that everyone as a whole needs to understand.
A lot of people do that, though. Men and women. You know what I mean? Like, men and women will deal with somebody just to get that validation from them. They get a high off of this person validating them. It's not you. It's something they're lacking within, and you're giving that, but it's not you that they like. It is what you are, the void you're feeling. You know what I mean? And if I was you, I'd be self-aware as much as possible, you know what I mean, and get out of that. I think we pretty much wrapped up about everything that you need to understand during your single time. The main subject that I want y'all to get out of this is what you need to be focused on during your single time. Your single time is for your perspective. Your single time is for learning. Now, I mean, your life is for learning. You know what I mean? But your single time is when you have no distractions of another person. You know what I mean? Is where you could do all that inflecting and just shifting that perspective. That's where the magic happens. Looking within, like without any type of feeling bad for loving on yourself. Like, that is the time for that. Your single time is your time to become one with self. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being single. Last thing I'm going to say is you should never feel a need to be in a relationship. Right. I mean, you should not feel like you need a companion. I mean, a companion just happens. The right companion just happens within the journey of you growing within yourself. I mean, it's not okay, I want, I mean, no, I need. No, you need to be one with self. Stop getting in relationships, hoping to become whole. I hate when people say, oh my God, she just makes me complete. Oh my God, he just completes me. No, you need to be complete within yourself. You know what I mean? Because without that person, now you have a big gap within your piece of pie that you got to heal from now. You know what I mean? And with that being said, you got anything you want to shout out?
That book, baby. Shout that book out, baby.
Yes. Y'all need to make sure y'all get Signals for High Vibrational Dating. It's the link in my bio at You Glow Girl Official, the letter You Glow Girl Official. Also, we have a Stiletto Dating Camp mentorship. It is a monthly subscription. I mentor you. You have full access to me. I take you through the Stiletto Camp dating course, and I'm there for you every step of the way.
Okay. You was about to say something, Mimi?
No, I wasn't actually.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to shout out? You want to shout yourself out?
Yes. Let's shout my Instagram out. Follow me on Instagram.
Big Millie, you know what I mean? Big Millie in the room. She out here. Yo, last pod, my sister hit 1 mil, you know what I mean, on the gram. So we gonna see who popping this, you know? Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Instagram though.
But you know what I'm saying? Follow me on Instagram at MamaaMiyah, MamaaMiyah. MamaaMiyah 1 on Twitter, and I literally just made a Facebook not too long ago. So MamaaMiyah on Facebook as well.
Okay, she trying to get them sugar daddies on Facebook. What you doing on Facebook?
Wild on there. I never see.
But yo, I want y'all to make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Hey man, it's been your boy Tybuggy. Until next time, out of here, man. Peace.